Welcome to Potawatomi Sportsbook Weekly. This is Austin Herdina, Sportsbook Manager, Billy Schmidt from 920 AM FSW, and Zach Studi, Sportsbook Restaurant Manager. What do we got to talk about today, guys? We got Cooper Pratt made his debut for the Brewers. What do you guys think so far?
We are, 3 games? Well, we're currently in progress with game 3. He just had a sac fly. So, overall, I was talking to Billy before the show. I think he's got a little bit of the yips, but, he has got the talent. So, he's right where he needs to be. Some time at this level and settling in and just getting a little more discipline. But I will say we've got more production on that side of the infield than we've had in a while.
When we traded Peralta away, this was the big piece, right? Cooper Pratt. That was the part of the deal that I think most Brewer fans were excited about.
Well, when they the Freddie Peralta one, they got Jet Williams back, who's also still coming up. Pratt was a early round pick, 6th rounder a couple of years ago, and they identified him early, dude. They wanted to grab him. They wanted to pay him. They paid him over slot quite a bit out of high school to keep him out of college and just develop the heck out of him and rolled. And when you're 21 years old, there was a time where it took 4 to 5 years of minor league baseball to be able to get in to the big leagues. Now that's totally changed. Now you see teams all over the place bringing up 21, 22-year-olds.
Connor Griffin.
And at shortstop, right, Connor Griffin and the kid in Seattle comes to mind as well.
Cole Emerson, yeah.
Who immediately are coming up being impact players. Their contracts are a lot loftier than what Pratt's was, but the Brewers try to find a bargain, and at 8 years, you know he's going to get the runway. You know he's going to get the opportunity, and I think the bat's going to come along. But, Zach, you mentioned it, like throwing the ball over Vaughn's head on day one. You could tell that the nerves rolled to him, but he's got the look of a major leaguer for sure.
Oh, dude, 6'4", was he 6'4", 220? He could play professional football at that size.
And he's playing shortstop in the major leagues.
And he ain't a shortstop, you know what I mean? But he's, one thing that I think is really interesting when you talk about where we're at with baseball right now is people aren't these franchises are not so easily giving up on these young talents anymore. They're giving them big contracts with 0 at bats in the majors. Like we had, like you said, Cooper Pratt, Jesus Mate. Like they paid them. They paid Emerson before he got into the league. Connor Griffin saw big money before he got into the big leagues. Like
I want to touch on this because I think it's the small market teams that have to do that to compete.
Right.
I think they have to give that 7-8 year deal like we did with Churio, for example. Right.
Right.
You have to give that to them early because if they get to the majors and they show out, like, you only have so many years of control over them, and you want to get the years past the arbitration years. Like you want to get
try to buy out a couple of years of that free agency, like you did with Churio. Yep.
Yeah. So you take that risk of a little bit longer potential.
And for Churio, there was the time when he signs. If the max, and I think that ultimately with the team options, he can go all the way up to 10 years and that buy out 4 years of what your free agency would ultimately be, and you try to extend that even more. I think the Brewers have done it a couple of times with great success. We mentioned Freddie Peralta a little bit earlier on here on the show. He was maybe the greatest lottery ticket. They signed him to 5 years, $15 million, and he became one of the biggest bargains in Major League Baseball for that time. So the more you do and the more you can hit, it really is, though, I think, identifying the player and the person, right? We haven't seen a ton of bad sides to this, downsides, outside of maybe the White Sox a number of years ago. They paid like 3 or 4 young guys who were yet to be established. Yoan Moncada comes to mind, and they made it to 1 playoffs and kind of flamed out. The Brewers have seemingly been able to figure out the right guys that with the money in their pocket, you're not going to lose any of that motivation or the drive to still get to your best self.
And the nice thing is the Brewers farm system, it's deep and it goes forever. I feel like, don't jinx it, but like I feel like we have the most talented farm system. I think we do actually have the most talented farm system, but there's so much longevity and the years of planning that went into developing these guys. Look at Miz. Like a lot of these guys, like Andrew Fisher, like Luis Lara, right?
Lara, yeah.
All these guys are just, Sal Frelick's replacements there, Bryce Farang's replacements there. Like, they have a succession plan in place for all these guys when they eventually depart. We were talking before the show, Bryce Terang, he's going to get huge money somewhere, and they'll be able to pull a ton of great prospects back when they move them. You can't beat it.
I hope it's us that gives them a ton of money, honestly.
That'd be fun.
I do too.
That would be fun.
He's a great player. I feel like he just fits our team so well. I mean, yeah, I feel like Yelich was the face of the team for a while, and I feel like it's kind of shifted. I think Terang and Churio and Contreras, I think those three guys have kind of. Miz is the face of the team from the pitching standpoint.
Sure.
But from the hitting standpoint, I feel like it's those three guys a little bit more than Yelich nowadays.
Well, in Miz, you're not going to commit to with that kind of financials necessarily because of the arm. There's just too many questions with velocity and things like that. But I think the Terang one, he's the perfect point as to why you have to shoot for we're going to identify him early and buy out the couple of years, because he's clearly now, I think, played himself into free agency, where all of his representation, he might be looking for new representation if you decide and tell him that he should be taking one of the long-term deals. But second baseman just got paid. Nico Horner got a bunch of money this offseason. He was 1 year away from free agency. Maybe that's a little bit of a framework for what a deal for Terang could be. The one caveat to it, and where the Brewers have some time to make that decision, the one moving on and things like that, however 2027 and the uncertainty with their CBA plays into the trade deadline, I wonder if
there's a cap.
If there's a cap, more than anything, if there's a salary floor, somebody's going to have to make the money, and you at least have young players that would be coming up to it that you'd feel pretty confident being able to throw some cash at to get you over that. I think it was proposed 170. The Brewers would need to make about $40 million if they could get that. I think I could find a couple of guys to give $20 million to.
Yeah.
Oh, please. I mean, as much as I love Yelich, there's a part of me that can't wait for his contract to be up. Not that he's like a bad player, and it's just kind of like, it's like he's like the last of what the Brewers' past was. It feels like kind of like when Rodgers was there with all these new wide receivers in Green Bay, and it's like, like this is kind of played out. Like there's a new talent pool here that you want to see develop and turn into something. I think that's where we're at with the Brewers now. Is like you said, like you got the guys like Terang, Pratt, like even Vaughn feels fresher than Yelich does.
Oh,
right
sure,
now,
but you can never discount having somebody that's done it, and he's a lot better and more vocal leader in the clubhouse than I think ever gets let on. He's one of the most valuable dudes that they've had in that organization for a long time. You mentioned it, Austin, like you have to have a face of the franchise. And when they signed him to that deal, I think that was
the move,
somewhat unexpected when they were able to get him locked up after that MVP season. So it is, and ultimately at the end of the day, I think he's like the 28th highest paid player in all of baseball. So it's somewhat of a bargain. But once they do clear that money off the books, they'll have more to spend. I think you take some bites at the apple and you try to lock up a William Contreras as well, because at some point he's going to come due sooner than Terang, and that bat's going to play wherever he ends up playing.
And having such a positional advantage where you actually have a catcher that can hit the ball. Like, I mean, he's what, batting 3 or 4 for us? Like, he's pretty consistently a great hitter. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he batted over 270 last year. Yeah,
at least. Oh, yeah. I think he was closer to 280, 290, and that was with a massive slump. This year he's right around 300, and that's true, Zach. That position, that value, it's hard to top.
A lot of bettors are still really high on the Brewers. We have them at 13-1 to win the World Series, and we just keep getting people hammering it like every day.
Feels like a good bet.
I mean, 13-1. I feel like it is. I
think they're still 7-1 to make the World Series.
You have the Dodgers in their path, obviously, to get there, right? But does anybody else really scare you besides the Dodgers in the Brewers' path? I don't think so.
And don't forget, the Dodgers just almost lost a series to the White Sox. Or did they lose that White Sox series?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I know Shohei, last 2 starts, has let up multiple runs, first time this year.
We just need him to get a blister during the playoffs and not hit 3 bombs.
Got a blister on his finger right now.
Let's just find ways to keep
pray on
that
that
one
blister.
I think that's the okay injury to someone. Nothing dangerous.
Just a blister.
It's just a blister, all
Like
right?
an infected
If I can pick
hangnail.
that up, raking in my backyard, I think you will be able to survive.
A sliver in the finger. Like he was raking in the backyard in California, got a sliver, got infected. He can't play 2 of the games in the series.
I feel a lot better about it.
Yeah.
All right, so going from one franchise doing really well, looking like a really bright future, to the Bucks. How are we feeling about Giannis? What's going on? The draft is what, a week away? Mm-hmm. Rumors have been circulating for a while that we were going to make a move before the draft. So, do you guys see it happening?
Wait.
You see Giannis? This is his last week as a Buck.
What were you saying the odds were that he'd stay in Milwaukee?
About 8.5 to 1.
That feels like good money too.
I like I was saying earlier to you guys off air, before the season started, or even early in the season, when we were talking about potential deals with Giannis, we talked about the Knicks offering a package and how we would like maybe a package of some young stars from San Antonio. And what happens? Those 2 teams, those young guys look awesome. They get all the way to the finals. Those 2 teams do not want to tear apart what they have right now. I do not see those 2 being trade partners. Celtics and Heat are the 2 teams that people are talking about. Celtics being a package that includes Jaylen Brown, Heat being a package that includes like Tyler Hero and a bunch of draft picks. Neither one really intrigues me a whole lot. I'd say more the Celtics deal, but I don't know what else is added in that. Like, I feel like it can't just be Jaylen Brown. I feel like we need to get something else in that.
I need and the thing with the Celtics is even the way that their roster is built, they're kind of built to win now, so they don't have like a lot of young talent. They have a lot of like in their prime or coming to the end of their prime kind of guys that you're not going to move off of because they don't get better by moving these guys, right? And like the Heat, they don't have enough of those guys. And that's kind of like it feels like it has to be a 3-way trade or he's got to stay in Milwaukee. That's kind of like you got to, if I'm getting rid of Giannis, that's very much a net negative for our franchise. Even if I get Jaylen Brown back, if I'm not getting Jaylen Brown back or any of the like Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, like some big guys back and picks, I don't want to move Giannis.
Well, and I think that's the tough thing that the organization's going through right now because at the end of the day, you are going to be hung with John Horst win an NBA title. But also, when you put the tombstone of his era and his reign as the GM of the Bucks, he'd be known as the guy that traded Giannis at the end of the day, right? I think like Jimmy Haslam's ownership at some point feels like it's going to be remembered as the guy that came in and put the ultimatum and the deadline down to trade Giannis. But it's the softest deadline of all time. It's a self-imposed one. Mm-hmm. In all reality, nothing has to happen before Wednesday for round 1 of the NBA draft. Sure, would it be nice to add another top 15 pick? Great. I think you'll be able to get that exact same package that you're getting from Miami, like you mentioned, in February, if that's the deadline time, when then you'd have to move him ahead of the player option. You'd then also be able to do something that none of the other teams right now can do, which is slide a piece of paper in front with a sweet ballpoint pen, maybe a Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Potawatomi Sportsbook on the logo. Say,
like
big dog, right there is 5 years, $275 million guaranteed. And force him to not take it. And I think at the end of the day, while the Bucks right now are fielding all the offers, the best thing, like you just mentioned, for business for the Milwaukee Bucks is for 34 to run out in a Bucks uniform in October. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to get moved by next week because I do think at some point he saw the Knicks this year. And if the conversations were true, this is a what-if championship for him.
Yeah.
He could have very much been on that Knicks team, been a massive part of it, and instead now he didn't want to put the thumb on the scale then. I think he realizes if he really wants out, he might have to, and somebody's going to have to be the bad guy in the situation. He has desperately not wanted to this point. But I think to get this thing over the hump, he just might have to.
Ah, man, it's when we talk about Giannis, it's so hurtful on your heart as a Bucks fan because you think about all the things he's done for this city and this franchise and how he's revitalized this whole city with just his presence being here. Like, when he goes, it's going to be very emotional for this city. And it's going to be profound effects on our franchise for years to come. And I think it's not going to be what you get back right now. It's going to be what you see later in this deal that's going to make it feel better. You know what I mean? Like what does feel better look like to you? Like, if 4 or 5 years we're back and we're contending, like we're not getting over the top, like where do we go? Like how do we get to the championship again? Like what does it take?
We're not competitive enough with him. You look at the other pieces on the roster, the other moves that we've tried to make to salvage a couple more years of trying to be contenders. Nothing's worked.
Right.
For one reason or another, it just hasn't worked.
Not the right coach.
A couple of the reasons are Giannis got hurt.
Yeah, Lillard got hurt.
Right,
that was a big part too.
Him and Dame both getting hurt in consecutive playoffs was one of the biggest reasons why that didn't work. I don't care whatever number analytic you want to put on it. They were one of the best scoring duos in basketball, went on the floor together, and they were unable to play playoff games together. I would wonder, you mentioned what puts you better. Is there a package where you feel like you'd have a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander possibility?
No.
Because that's...
Scoot
Henderson's the closest thing in my mind. And to your point, Zach, then you'd have to rope in Portland and a third team into it.
Yeah, I mean, like Scoot feels like if I was walking away from a deal with anything, like Scoot is very untapped potential right now because we haven't seen him at his peak. And Portland's kind of quietly becoming an ascending team. People don't really see the young pieces that they have, but they're kind of like the Spurs, where you're going to have so much young talent, you're not going to know what to do with all those pieces. And then eventually they're just going to all kind of play out. You're never going to find a rotation that works well for them, and you're going to lose super talented guys to every different franchise. But I think if I'm doing the deal and I'm Milwaukee, I want to walk with multiple firsts either next year and the year after. I want somebody who's a young star. I have control of them for a while on a cheap deal, and that's how I feel. And I think Scoot is one of those guys for me. I'd take Denny back. Denny's only 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I just really think that if we're gonna move him, it's gonna be, the rumors are Celtics or Heat. I don't like what the Heat has to offer. The Celtics has to include Jaylen Brown and other stuff. The dark horse in all this that I hear a little bit about that I would be intrigued by is Atlanta. Atlanta's a team that I think would like him. It's a team in the East that they feel like, hey, the East is more wide open now than the West, obviously. And they have some young pieces. They have some pieces that they might be able to move. They have some draft picks they might be able to move. So watch out for Atlanta. We'll see what happens.
They've got a lot of draft capital. They got some guys that could also be. They would be an interesting third team there.
Yeah, Ricochet. Everyone keeps talking about. I have heard that actually. Now you bring up like Ricochet, but like, I don't know. Like I feel like for me,
I don't want that package to start with Jalen Johnson. I don't know that it will.
Bring
but
back to Milwaukee.
At least on the very least, I feel like Dyson Daniels. I like Dyson Daniels and Yeka Kongwu, Kuminga, and some picks. Like,
can I ask though? Are we throwing too much shade at my Whitnall alumni brother and Tyler Hero? He was an all-star. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people that act like he is at some point what Stephen A. Smith was trying to talk about with Kwame Brown. Like, he's got some game. He's as Doc Rivers just said, a closer. I don't know that he's not going to lead some team to a title, but I think there's maybe more to those packages than you start thinking about.
Just from a general manager mindset,
I don't want that personality in my clubhouse. It feels like
coming home.
I want to build a team for like 2030. Okay, I don't want to look for a team that's going to get me some more wins necessarily next season. Like that's not what's that going to do.
Yeah, you end
term?
up with a mid-first round draft.
Yeah, we've been there many years. I would rather. We already have blown it up, to be honest with you, but we blow it up even further, and we target a year like 2030 around that time frame to have these young guys that we would get in draft picks, etc., to make a potential team. So like that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a potential all-star in Tyler Hero that in 4 years is he then going to be obviously needing a huge contract and
closer
the later
to 30.
part of his career. Yep. Like, what I mean? That doesn't really help me long term.
It might not. But the other thing that might also not help you long term is draft picks for the next GM.
Yeah.
Right, like that's one of the other parts of how long and how much you forecast out here.
That's the human part of the game, right?
That's the human part of the game. Job security is one of the most important things, and I wonder how much of it John Horst fully believes he has. I know they've re-upped him a number of different times, but I think that'd be a question of it.
We had a pretty awesome UFC event this last Sunday night. Zach, were you here for that?
I was, and that was an awesome event. We were packed.
UFC at the White House, quite the spectacle. I absolutely loved the live music that they played, like for the intros and stuff.
Zach Brown.
Live singers, live band.
A little WrestleMania feel to it.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was a showmanship for me. I feel like
Had Hulk Hogan theme song.
they're all walking out of the White House and it's just whatever music they chose playing. I'm like, this is it.
It was awesome. It was really fun to watch. The next big UFC event is available right now. UFC 329, I believe it's called.
There's a guy fighting in that one.
Conor McGregor is coming back to the UFC. He's going to be fighting in that. You can make reservations right now. Potawatomi.com/casino/sportsbook. You can click the reservation link. Get your table reserved. Quite the opportunity. I mean, Zach could tell you how busy it was and how you can't show up Sunday night or this time Saturday night and expect to get a table because these UFC nights they sell out.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not. Unfortunately, as much as we would love to have everyone, seating is limited. So make sure that you guys are putting in your reservations as soon as you get the opportunity. And it just dropped today.
Yes, dropped.
So I highly encourage you guys if you want to come watch Conor McGregor beat. Who's he fighting? It doesn't even matter. It's just the other guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, highly encouraged. Just come out here, see Conor McGregor. We had such a great turnout for that UFC fight at the White House. Super pumped to host another one. Nothing like UFC fight nights here in the sportsbook.
I want to touch on one more NBA. Or you have something with UFC?
Hold on. You say you watch him lose?
Yeah.
Watch McGregor lose?
Yeah. Don't you think he's gonna lose?
Hey, I don't know. I'm down for the cause, though. I'm excited to see right now Max Holloway's minus 335. Max Holloway's got a strong jaw.
He does.
I haven't seen Conor McGregor take a shot in about 7 years. I was in college last time I think I watched Conor McGregor win a fight.
I think.
And it was a bad boxing fight, if I remember those ones. I've seen him take a lot of whiskey shots.
Yeah.
I've seen him take a lot of verbal shots. I did see him snap his leg in half and still talk shit. So I'm interested to see it. But
I'd talk shit if I had a Lamborghini boat, okay? Like, this man drives around a Lamborghini boat. It ain't even a Lamborghini car. This guy's on the water with a Lamborghini, okay? He's on a different level.
He sells tickets. I don't know how good he's going to be in the ring this time.
And Gable Stevenson's going to fight that one? That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a good card. I want to touch on an NBA story that I read last night. So, Trae Young, I don't know if you guys saw this. He declined his player option for $48.7 million, I believe, for 1 year.
Yeah, God is good.
What is he thinking? Like, who is going to be giving him some long-term deal for hundreds of millions? Like,
I think he just doesn't want to play in Washington.
Well, reportedly, that's where his new contract is coming. From Washington.
Apparently, that's the people are saying they think that's why he declined it because he's expecting a long-term deal with them. But
I would expect one too when they traded the assets they did, right? Like that's the one thing where he kind of had their backs up against the wall. They trade a package of players and picks for him at the deadline. The expectation is he's going to play for him. But I'll be honest with you, the Wizards are one of the most fascinating teams in the league.
Just so much
They have the
logjam
number
of
one overall
talent.
pick. They have Trae Young. Anybody remember they also have Anthony Davis?
yeah.
You think Anthony Davis is playing for him this year? Like, so I don't know. Are they trying to win now with older guys in the 2021 NBA playoffs with Anthony Davis and Trae Young, or build around AJ DeBonsa? They're a fascinating team over the next week.
Are we 100% that DeBonsa's going to the Wizards?
I'm not 100%,
That's
and
what
I
I
wouldn't
wanna
be
know.
shocked if a team makes a deal to get the number one pick.
Do you see Darren Peterson said he won't, he doesn't want to play for anyone?
He's not even trying out for anyone else. He's only trying out for Washington.
I feel like it's the ego with Peterson.
Yeah, it is.
It almost worked out for Ace Bailey when he said he wasn't going to play for Utah. Who did he play for last year, Austin?
Played for Utah.
Yeah, he played for Utah.
He did well in Utah.
He did. He did. And
Utah's a pretty good team, man. Don't sleep on them. They're only getting better.
you can't have that many top 5 picks and be ass forever. You would at least think, right?
It's Utah.
That's true. That's true.
I
Getting
mean,
on, they might be.
They're still the Jazz. Like, they have even spent time figuring out the name. Like, no one's like the Jazz is coming in here. Like,
Well, I know the owner there wants to keep DeBonsa in the state of Utah.
They're doing anything they can.
So I wouldn't be shocked if they were to make some deal where they just move from number 2 to 1 and give up like a first next year as well or something.
If anybody would overpay, I do agree with you. I think they want him soaking in Utah, and they want him to stay there as bad as anybody does.
that would be like the most athletically freaky team in the NBA. Like, I mean, between Keontae George, his ability to shoot the ball, Isaiah Collier, who's just like lightning fast, and then those two forwards in Bailey and DeBonsa.
And don't forget 7-foot Lauri Markkanen, who can pretty much do whatever.
Yeah, and Jaren Jackson and Walker Kessler, who's apparently not getting paid enough with $140 million. Like, just not enough money for Kessler.
I don't know how you expect him to feed the family with that one.
It's an interesting young
He's
team.
going poor.
Utah's got an interesting young team that's only going to get younger and more interesting with this draft. U.S. Open going on as well right now. WNBA season's in full swing. What else is going on, guys? Let's see. We got
our Milwaukee Brewers still cruising through. However, you mentioned WNBA.
Yeah.
How many Caitlin Clark bets have been rolling through this sports book? Are people hot on it, or are they rolling onto the right side here and realizing that Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings is actually where the action's at in the WNBA?
We see a lot of bets on all different kind of stuff in the WNBA. People love all the player props. Just the different, whether it's points or points, rebounds, and assists, or double doubles.
Dunks.
Seems like WNBA bets they're doing pretty well for us. But yeah,
Those got to be good odds, though.
we don't offer that. I'm sorry, we don't offer dunks as a bet choice. Even in the NBA, we don't offer it.
I feel like that'd be a good one.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be a fun one. That would be another one. Hey, Austin, since you have the say for this, Zach and I were talking about what we were talking about before the show. Can you put in to get stolen bases be a total base for baseball?
Or a hit
we
by
know you got
pitch.
this big wheeling power over here.
So like
Get
total
together with the
bases
people.
is literally a Major League Baseball statistic. I just had another conversation with a guest today. Happens a lot, actually. People think that if I got a single, and now somebody hit a home run, and now he came all the way around and scored.
That's
so
not
I
what
should
we're
get
talking
4.
That's not what we're talking about here.
No,
I'm just saying. I understand.
You run the sports book, which is why I feel like you're deflecting
Fine,
now.
you're saying hit a single and
Thank
steal
you.
second. That counts as
Two bases.
Two
That's
bases.
not the way it works.
You
It's what
walk
happens
me,
during your
you
at-
walk
a walk
me, I
doesn't
got
help
a
either.
base.
What happens during your at bat is all a total base is.
I'm
that should be
walking
it.
my
A walk
bat.
happened during your at bat. Thank you.
just
that
as
should
I-
be
Major
a
League
base
Baseball to
on
change the rule.
balls.
Tell Major League Baseball
We
to
gotta
change
talk.
their statistics.
We gotta
You
talk
gotta
to
know-
Vegas.
Yeah, I think you know the people to be talking to. I agree with you, Zach. He's deflecting.
It's a deflection
Yeah, I
for
agree.
sure, guys.
Okay.
Hey, how about you bring some food next week?
I will.
Will you?
Yeah, I will. We got a brand new menu.
Kitchen's open at 2:00 every day of the World Cup. All right.
And if you're not
getting
getting the fried chicken, you are messing up.
we filmed this around 2:30, so I mean,
It's bumping out there.
it's kitchen food time for the show.
Yeah.
We gotta
We'll
show
have
you
it
guys
next
some-
week.
Yeah, let's show you some new items we have. Come on into the sportsbook anytime. Come see Zach in the restaurant. Come see Austin in the sportsbook. Listen to Billy on the radio anytime. Come on in, Potawatomi, this weekend. See us at the window.